I'm gonna sit you down by the campfire, everyone. I'm gonna tell you about this dream I had. So, before I tell you this, because this is gonna sound like the ramblings of a crazy person, okay? I don't do drugs, however, it was a weird night, okay? Around 6 a.m., I was about to fall asleep. I was drifting off. I was really about to fall asleep. And then randomly, I am 100% fully alert and unable to sleep. Like, I'm literally about to sleep. I'm like, and then, oh! It's like I got stabbed with like a awake knife or something, because I was just fully awake randomly out of nowhere and I couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, okay. I laid in bed unable to sleep for like 2 hours until 8 a.m. And then something in my brain was like, let's go play Hollow Knight. So I played Hollow Knight from like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. or something. Like I couldn't sleep, so I was like, I might as well do something, you know? At 11, I decided to try to sleep again. And this time, after about an hour, I finally do fall asleep at like noon. I was figuring I'd sleep for like 2 hours and then stream at like 3, but that did not end up happening. I didn't feel right in the brain, okay? And the dream I had was the most surreal experience that I've ever had in my life. Act 1. It opens on an airplane flying back from somewhere to like here to Rochester, right? We land. I'm like resting on the plane, right? Because that's just what happens when it, you know, it's a plane. What else are you gonna do? I hear like shooting in the front, so I look up and there's someone just like firing bullets everywhere. Like this mass murderer is shooting everywhere. So I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? So they opened the slide on the side of the planes that they use to get people out. That's what I use. And as I was leaving, she looked at me and said like, you're not gonna get away with this or something, like directly to me. And I was like, okay. So I'm panicking, right? You know, I call my mom. I'm like, I'm not dead. You know what I mean? She was like, get to the house as soon as possible, right? I get in my car and I'm driving frantically back to my apartment, right, to gather my stuff to go over to my house. And then sleeping gas fills the car. And I'm like, oh my god. And then I pass out. Act 2. I wake up in my bed in my apartment, which is already weird, right? Like, I'm like, what? Why am I there? I look around, I see that my phone is still here, and my keys are still there, like my car keys, but not my wallet, which is very concerning, right? Because I need that. So I'm like, I don't have time to think about the circumstances, right? I was just like, we gotta go, right? So I run outside, try to get to my car, and I press like the button on my car to unlock it, but it doesn't come out of my car. What responds to my keys now is a piss yellow Volkswagen Beetle. That is what my keys now responded to. I go to the piss yellow Volkswagen Beetle, which is like the ugliest car I've ever seen. It's got a completely empty tank. There's nothing in it, and it's just a completely useless car, which I'm assuming, you know, she did to like troll me. I was pissed. I tried to call in support, like to get like a tank refill or something. So I tried to call, but every time I called, it said this call was disconnected due to authority reasons or something. And I was like, what? I couldn't call them for whatever reason. I'm like, okay. And then now this is weird. You may not believe me, but I'm not making this up. I hear Dedos's voice from like the skies above saying, this isn't looking good. Try to wake up. And so I think about it. I'm like, oh, this is a dream. Okay. And I try to wake up and I can't. I try like everything I can. I can't wake up. I'm stuck in this dream, Dedos. I can't. Now, Dedos doesn't talk ever again. He's just like gone or something, surveying the whole situation. But now I knew that I was in a dream. I know this sounds like unbelievable. I swear this happened. I'm like, I need to get gas into this car. I can't do that if I can't call anyone. So I decide, well, this is a dream, so I'm just gonna push the car to a gas station, right? If I just envision that I can do that, I can probably do that. So I push the stupid yellow Beetle to a gas station, right? And I have no money because I don't have a wallet. The people at the gas station, I like beg with them. I'm like, please give me gas. Please do it. And I get into like this giant argument with them. And for some reason, the fact that I was like born in Ohio convinced them to do it. They're like, oh, you must be trustworthy. Well, I guess we'll fill your tank for free then. And for some reason that works. They go, and the moment that a drop of gas goes into the car, I get a text on my phone saying, the authorities have been contacted. You have 5 minutes or something. And I was like, what? Okay, I have 5 minutes until the cops are here, I guess. So I was like, okay, I probably have enough time to fill up the car and go, right? The tank is filled and I start driving. I go, all right. Act 3, I'm on the run. I'm like driving away from all these like cop cars. I'm like, you know, they're trying to get me like as fast as they possibly can. But the problem is that the car was sabotaged and I didn't know it yet. But as I was driving, I saw the speedometer slowly go down and down until I was going like 20 miles per hour, like a go-kart. And all these like cop cars were like closing on me. There was like helicopters flying in for whatever reason. I don't know why they were working for the mass murderer or whatever, but I guess they were doing that. So the cop cars, they were like closing and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I guess this is it. I'm screwed. There's like no way out of this situation. But then I remember, this is a dream, right? So these cop cars don't exist. So I'll just make them not exist. So I did. I made all the cops not exist, and I was like, awesome, we're making progress. And then like the mass murderer just apparates in front of me like, oh, you think you're so clever, like I just like spawned to the final boss or something. And then she says genuinely one of the most chilling things I've ever heard, ever. She said, you know that thing in dreams where you're about to die but you wake up? This isn't gonna be one of those times. That kind of freaked me out. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a level of self-awareness for this boss enemy person thing here. In my dream I was like, all right, this is serious stuff, you know what I mean? Like this is, whether perceived or not, this is a threat I will be taking seriously, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't joking around with this anymore. So I was like, I'm gonna give this all I got. We entered this, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but the fight at the end of that where Star-Lord and his dad are like forming like objects out of nothing, like that's what we did. I was like making mass around me to like fire projectiles and swords and do all this like crazy fight stuff, but because she could also alter reality, I couldn't like just like make the air around her 1,000,000 degrees or whatever. So I was like doing everything I could to like survive. And the way that I won is what I did is I shot a bunch of arrows in the air and I shrunk down the stupid yellow beetle. As she was looking at the arrows up in the sky, I floated the little beetle over to her and then expanded it, blowing her up. That is how I got. I used the stupid yellow beetle that she gave me, actually owned. And then as soon as I did that, like a white glow was like emanating from me, and I started like floating upwards as like my like vision became white. And then that's when reality struck, and I woke up. You know, in reality, it's pitch black outside. I look at my phone. It's like 5 p.m. now because I was stuck in my stupid head for the whole night. I slept through all alarms because I was busy fighting whatever that was, and that's why I didn't stream yesterday, because I was doing whatever you want to call that. I'm glad you guys like my story. Yeah, I don't know what, probably the plot of something. My brain just can't make all that happen off nothing. Probably.